welcome to the show. And today for our first guest, we have Kaveri Sequeira, a certified health coach and author, and she's here today to talk to us about the 6 types of hunger. Welcome, Kaveri.
Great to be here, Linda. I love being here.
And today you're talking about the 6 types of hunger. So what are the 6 types of hunger?
Yes, so there are 6 types of hunger, and I'm going to start with the first type of hunger, which is the only genuine hunger that we have, and it's called nutritional hunger. We've evolved to have, when you're hunting and gathering, we've evolved to go with the seasons of the year, and nature has different foods in different seasons, and therefore we would get a wide variety of fruit and vegetables and meat in our diets. So we've been evolved to go and try and get that variety in our hunger, in our diet, so we can actually meet that hunger. Unfortunately, these days when we go and look at our shopping carts, we buy the same thing week in and week out. We need to get more variety of natural foods into our trolleys, so we can actually have that variety hunger met. So that is the third type of hunger. The fourth type of hunger, which I to talk about, is the emotional hunger, and that is where when we are feeling sad or angry or stressed, and God knows we've had a lot of things to feel that way about, we generally turn to food as an answer, as a coping mechanism. Now, that is actually not a genuine hunger, right? It is actually, we're trying to cope with our feelings and our emotions at that point in time. And I used to struggle with that as well. Like, if I was missing my mom, I would want to go and eat a chocolate chip cookie, prior to doing this. And when I looked at that, at my mindset of why I was doing it, I was actually wanting love. I was associating love as a feeling to that food. But what would have been a better idea is to actually give her a call and talk to her, because that's the real emotion. So we have to be aware of that emotional hunger, which is not a genuine hunger, but it's something we do as a habit. The fifth type of hunger is low blood sugar hunger. And this is something that we have because we have, I don't know about you, but for most people around 3 o'clock, you have that, cravings that they need to just have something. And that's caused by low blood sugar hunger, because we have a lot of low quality foods which has got high refined sugar in it. And that causes, sugary foods cause a lot of blood sugar spikes. And when that goes slightly low, we think we're hungry, but it's actually because of the diet. So that's something to be aware of. And the sixth type of hunger is empty stomach hunger. Now, we were born in feast and famine times, when we evolved. So we were kind of used to, our stomachs kind of used to shrinking and expanding when we found food, basically. The empty stomach hunger is to get us really to get motivated as a survival strategy, to give us some signs so we can go and hunt and give us some motivation to go and hunt for food, which is essentially, it's quite dangerous to go hunting, right? Because you could get killed. So the trigger we get is, you're hungry, go find some food. But it's not actually, the empty stomach hunger we're talking about is not genuine hunger, because right now we eat 3 meals a day. We don't have to go hunt for our food. We're not doing enough activity, and we're still eating a lot of food. So it's not genuinely, if our stomach growls, it's not the first time. It doesn't mean that our stomach is truly empty. It's the digestive system just kind of clearing up, and doing some work during the minimum rest time. So just be aware that, are you truly hungry? Because you don't have to eat the first time you get a signal from the stomach, because it could be just your digestive system processing the food that you ate for your last meal. So those are the 6 types of hunger.
And why is it important to actually know about these types of hunger?
Absolutely. So I guess education is really important, right? Because when you know about these 6, just by being aware of the 6, you're going to think, okay, am I really feeling emotional? Am I feeling sad? Maybe I should, try and drink a glass of water instead, or go for a walk, or actually try and meet the emotion that is bothering you, or question, am I just thirsty here, or do I have a lot of refined, like I'm having food with a lot of refined sugar in it. So it's just being aware of that really helps. I mean, I've got a story that I can share of a person who constantly used to emotionally binge. She's like in her 30s. She just went through she went through a really difficult life event, and her way of coping at the end of the day was drinking, a couple of glasses of wine in the evening. And that was what she would go to. Once she realized that it's not actually, it's a processed food, and it's going to cause, the next day she would have headaches. She wasn't actually dealing with the grief of what she was going through. So that's where an emotional hunger trigger was done. She coped with alcohol, whereas in evolution we didn't actually have alcohol in our diet. So she's actually not following the natural human diet, and as a result not even meeting her emotions. So it's just good to be aware of what those triggers are and actually deal with what is actually in front of you, not because it's not a genuine hunger. It's not your nutritional hunger.
So Kaveri, then for our viewers, how can they tell? What would be your tips on how they can tell the difference between the types of hunger?
Yeah, sure. So if it's thirst hunger, for example, the best thing you could do is say, have I had enough water today? And then maybe just go and drink a glass of water. Like, we should be having 7 to 8 glasses of water a day to be fully hydrated. So that would be a great thing to do. Check if you're really hungry, or is it just that I'm thirsty. So that's a good way to, and then if you have a glass of water and you stop feeling hungry, then you get your answer. The next thing you could do is look at your diet and say, am I having a lot of low quality sugars in my diet? Because that's probably what's causing the blood sugar to spike. So my recommendation is to have a lot more fruit and vegetable in your diet so you get your natural sugars. So that's one thing you could do. The other thing you could do is, just be generally more active in the day. Especially that's really useful for emotional hunger. Like, do your 10,000 steps a day, because that'll definitely help you feel better about yourself, have better emotions and mental clarity, and that definitely helps with your mental health and emotional health as well. Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing, breath is a very important part as well. We all need air, so definitely more of that, because you might find that if you have an emotion and you get triggered, a good thing to do would be do 10 deep breaths and then let it out and drink a glass of water and say, I'll take a 10-minute walk and come back, and you might find that you're not hungry for that particular thing again. You actually feel good about yourself because you've not eaten something and then get into that guilty way of thinking, and then that self-sabotage, and that doesn't help you.
Thank you for that, Kaveri. And for more information on Kaveri and the 6 different types of hunger, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break and be back after with our next guest. Welcome back. And today we have Steve Hall back with us, our holistic coach. And part of the series in Living a Life of Value and Meaning, today's topic is our relationship with fear. So welcome back, Steve.
Thank you, Linda, and thanks for the introduction.
Our relationship with fear.
I know, right? A lot of people don't like fear, and I can well understand that. But we've been talking about how to love yourself more, how to connect with your values and your purpose in life. And fear is an important part of that, because there's people want to do things, they want to improve their life, they want to get better at what they're doing, and then they find something stopping them, and it's quite often the relationship with fear. So I thought it's worthwhile to explore that a little bit and find out what is our relationship with fear and how does that impact us.
With that in mind, how do we create a better relationship with fear?
I'll share a little bit about what I imagine in my own mind when I'm thinking about fear and when I'm realizing the effect it's having on me, right? So I imagine my emotions. I like listening to them now, something that I learned along the way in my life. It's like, listen to your emotions, what they're telling you. Don't ignore them or try and push them away. So I imagine in my own mind when I've got a dilemma or something, or I've got an emotion expressing itself, I imagine there's a boardroom, like a boardroom table in my mind with a chairman and all that, and the emotions are sitting at the table. And the emotion that is quite often the loudest is fear. And one thing that I've understood about fear, it's sort of like fear has anxiety itself. And the less my self-belief is turning up, the less self-belief I have in myself, the noisier my fear gets. So it's like my fear is present when I'm not, and learning who I am, what I value, and taking control of my life and responsibility is what has the most effect on fear. It's sort of like my fear calms down, and then it becomes just more like a warning, like a pet dog. I often find, my fear is a lot like a pet dog. It'll bark at something if it gets scared, right? And my job, if my self-belief is big enough, if I'm there, if I'm present, my job is, what's up, boy? Acknowledge that it's spoken and give it a pat and go, it's all right, I got this, I'm here. And it'll go, oh, thanks, you've noticed, you've listened to me, and it'll sit down. And that's what fear's like for me. It's like I've recreated what it means. It no longer controls me. I'm not scared of fear myself, because I realise now it's just trying to get my attention so I can be aware of something. And that's the relationship with fear that we all need to understand, so we can build our self-belief, and then we can achieve what it is we really want to achieve in our life. The things that we love, our mission, our values, our purpose, all of that is possible if fear is coming along for the ride and not calling the shots.
How would it tie in with that? How would we break free, really, of that fear that's...
See, fear is ever present, and it's meant to be. It's quite a useful emotion. It's not something that we need to overcome or overpower. A lot of our life, that's our first thing that we want to do with fear, is we want to stop it. We want to push it down, push it away, get away from it, distract ourselves. And this is what we find when we try and pursue what we love. We'll get distracted and we'll find that we can't achieve it. And people will say, why am I procrastinating? Well, fear can often be the cause. Fear gets too strong and we're not listening to it. We're trying to suppress it. So it's very important we get a good relationship, not just with fear, with all our emotions, but fear is a really important one to start with, because it's the one that's loudest. It wants reassurance most. So we have to give that reassurance to ourselves. Take a deep breath. We've talked about breathing before.
Oh, wonderful.
Deep breath, and it'll send a signal to ourselves and our emotions, I'm okay, I've got this. And then you can have that conversation with your emotions, fear being one of them.
So for our viewers, what would be the best advice from today with their fears?
It would be the breathing technique to start with, and start reflecting on, what do I really want here and what's really worrying me? So you take a deep breath in and you listen to what fear's expressing to you. What are you really worried about? If you write it down, is a good way. Just get to the point. What is that thing that I'm worried about? Because whatever the fear is telling us, we try and attach to everything and we start worrying about way too much. But when you write it down, you have to become quite specific, and you'll find that this might only be one thing, and it stops it bouncing around and like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger as it rolls downhill, and you can't go to sleep at night, it keeps you awake. So writing it down, becoming quite specific with what it is, and you go, actually, that's a little bit, it's good. Now I can focus on that. I'm not getting distracted, I'm not catastrophizing it, it's not getting out of control. Yeah, okay. And then you can sort of speak to your emotion. I've got this. Yeah, no, I can do that, and I want to do this, whatever it is. Like it might be giving a talk in front of people. I want to do this. And then your fear will it'll settle down. It'll still be there, but you'll have a good relationship with it. You just go, what am I really worried about? And if I have to write down, I'm nervous about what people will think when I'm talking to them, I'll see how that's nothing to get over dramatic about. It's not the end of life, the sky's not going to fall in. And that puts it in context for me. And I go, I've got this. Yeah, no, it's all right. And I reassure myself. And then I go, this is something I want. And honestly, the whole feeling changes. And I've really developed this technique to a point where I don't really worry about that sort of stuff anymore. So that's what it's all about. And it's connecting us with our values, what we love in life, and accepting all our emotions. It's really good.
Thanks so much, Steve. And for more from Steve and living a life of value and meaning, and specifically your relationship with fear, then please go to his webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll be back with another guest and another topic. Welcome back, and we have Dr. Zara Chelik back with us today, our integrative health and wellness expert, and she's talking to us about detoxing your life. So, Dr. Zara, what is detoxing your life?
Absolutely. So usually when we talk about detoxing life, people usually associate detoxification with a juice cleanse or a fasting experience that may try in their own daily lives. But it is more than that. When I talk about detoxing life, I'm referring to being mindful at mind, body, spiritual, environmental level, and even more. Because what we think, our thought process, what we say, is also contributing to how we feel. And also plays a role also what energy we create and radiate out in our environment, within ourselves and also in our workspace and with our loved ones. And of course, there's the detoxification of the physical body, which is, detoxing and giving a break to your organs. And, again, when it comes to detoxing at physical level, it is by individual. So I will encourage people to see what suits their needs, and to work on detoxing the physical body at that level. But having said that though, our body, our organs are always detoxing for us, but it is important that we support our detoxification organs. And some of the organs that are involved in detoxification is our liver, our gut health, our gut itself, the digestive tract, our skin, skin pores, if they're open with sweating, and through the sweating we are also detoxing. So body is very intelligent at what it does on its own, but it is a great idea, something that I suggest people to really clean the skin clean. The skin pores are clean, so then the body is detoxing efficiently through the skin pores as well. It is also a good idea to pay attention how your digestive health is performing, like we did in our last interview, as well as how the liver is doing, and also are we having the right foods to take the load off the liver. Because liver loaders could be such as, alcohol or deep fatty fried foods. They can sort of add burden to the liver, which means the detoxification can become sluggish because liver is involved in physical detoxification process. And there is, of course, the lymphatic system when it comes to detoxing at the physical level. And the lymphatic system can need a bit of that boost time to time. So getting a nice regular lymphatic drainage massage can also help and support the lymphatic system as well as the physical detoxification system as well. And there's of course the environment that we work in, the environment that we live in. And we pay attention to, do we have enough greens in our environment to really help detox the air? Do we open our windows regularly to detox and clean the environment that we live in? Cosmetic products, personal care products come into play a role when it comes to detoxing our lives at environmental level. So the perfume that we put on, shampoos, deodorants, things like that, do they contain certain ingredients? They can disrupt our endocrine system. It can put a burden on the hormones and create that internal imbalance in the hormonal health. So that those will be the things that I will recommend people to pay attention when it comes to detoxing environment, as well as our cleaning products at home, in our kitchen, for our bathrooms. They could contain, toxins, even though we think that we're actually cleaning, it can actually then backfire on us as through the inhalation and through contact with the skin as well. But I always encourage, which is the big one, is to really pay attention to the mind, our thought process, not to hold resentment and to clear that, to balance the mind. And also not to judge, criticize, including ourselves, as well as not to be infatuate with others. So that the whole thing can create imbalance in the mind and also in the individual as well.
When you say infatuated with others, can you clarify, give us a little bit of clarity on that?
Absolutely. So it's like, you like someone so very much, you only see one side of them and you just admire that one side of them so much that you instantly want to become that individual. You want to live like that individual. And then that makes you not authentic because you're not living your authentic self. You're not being your authentic self. And that can create imbalance in the mind and put us more in the immanent mind. And the transcendent mind can become imbalanced with the, in relation to our, immanent mind. So we want a good balance there. And to, really, as much as we can, to balance the mind, to operate from that transcendent mind, that creative mind, that authentic, objective mind.
So Zara, what would you say would be your top tip for our audience to take with them today?
Absolutely. So paying attention to mind, body, our thought process, our nutrition, our environment is very crucial. When it comes to, I just want to add in the nutrition because I didn't say too much on that one. It is important that we take care of our liver and our gut. My favorite one is actually beetroot juice or beetroot salad, and also raw aloe vera. I consume that particularly personally myself. So the beetroot really helps to support the gut health, to move flush toxins out, as well as taking care of the liver. So the other thing will be pay attention to our clinic products at home, be very mindful of what our clinic products can actually create internally in our environment, and also what effect it can have on the external environment for the other livings in the ocean as well.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And for more information on Dr. Zara Celik and detoxing your life, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And we'll see Dr. Zara back next time on how to eliminate fatigue. Now we'll finish up for today and we'll see you back next week with interesting guests and topics.